I ought to call animal control, because you an unfit damn dog owner, letting your chihuahua run around off leash. And you ain't even got a pooper scooper. This is Bedtime Stories, Grownup Edition, Resurrection, Part 3. When we left off, we found out that Miss Bernie's death wasn't just painful. It came with some unintended consequences, and if something wasn't done about Clarence, Donovan was going to have some explaining to do in a courtroom. We also found out that the Queen Mother didn't just mind everybody's business in her family, but she was over at the People's Hospital, minding the business of strangers, trying to keep new mothers from burdening their children with names that would only make sense on mugshots. Michael was dealing with a crisis, and per usual, Angela had given him some good, sound motherly advice. She proved that it takes a man to raise a man, because she neglected to consider or address how Michael should handle other boys trying him or pushing up on Tamara. And whether we all agree with Q's stance on the subject or not, text messages and Michael's phone were proof that something was going to have to be done. One little snot-nosed punk had sent Michael a text message with a picture of Tamara's behind, talking about, I love to see her coming, but I really love to see her go. Where'd he get that from? These kids is grown. And Michael's response was, nigga, you must want to take a long nap. That, or you want to lose your fronts. And then the little whippersnapper sent him an AI-created image of what he presumed was a naked Tamara. And Michael lost it. Meanwhile, in Miami, Natalia had found herself in a very uncomfortable position. Sincere and Saint had left and went to Paris, and the huge St. James estate was feeling real crowded. Natalia and her mother was staying in one wing, and Janelle was staying in another. Star was back at school, but she decided to pop up. And when she did, she had her first encounter with Nell without Sincere there to referee. Somehow, the referee job became Natalia's. When Star had gotten back to the estate, after she'd arranged the meeting between Saint and Natalia and walked her pet fish, crocodile, platypus, whatever, she made a beeline for her brother Sincere and said, so I stranded Natalia. I don't know if or when she's coming back here, but I'm hoping when she does, she will not be alone. And you and I need to get an understanding. I'm not prioritizing Saint's happiness over yours, but I'm prioritizing Saint's happiness and Natalia's. You're a train wreck. And if you don't pull yourself together, our brother is going to be a casualty. Y'all two niggas got to work together. And as much as I want to see him put belt to ass, y'all can't be fighting over this girl, especially when she don't want you. Before she could finish her prepared speech, Nell walked in and said, he is done with Natalie. If he ain't, I'll make it so she not an option. And Star went off. She said, who the hell are you? And why in the hell do you think you got the power to be eliminating any damn options? Janelle said, I'm his baby mother. Sincere said, that remains to be proven. Star said, you're not ready to be a daddy, and I damn sure don't want to be an auntie. I ain't babysitting, I'm not changing no diapers. And how you gonna have a baby with a chick I don't even know? Janelle said, well, hello, my name is... I said, girl, I don't care. Get the hell out so I can talk to my brother in private. Janelle said, who the hell you talking to, little girl? Star said, pregnant or not, I spin your damn head around like the exorcist, because your face and head ain't pregnant. Janelle said, Sincere, you better get your sister. I said, how? How, Sway? Matter of fact, you get me. I double dog dare you. Standing here with your lace showing. You booger wolf in the face. Sincere said, all right, that's enough. I'm not about to let you. Star said, hold on now. Who the hell you protecting, her or me? Because I'll slide both of y'all niggas. And the only reason why Janelle didn't get her whole and entire behind whoop is because Catherine walked in. Catherine said, Star, explain to me why you forced the driver who took Natalia out of this house to leave her without a way back. And why did you hotwire Saint's motorcycle and ride it back here? Star said, because I was doing the Lord's work. And sometimes a little interference is necessary. They need time, and so do this nigga. Now, you might be willing to put up with all these shenanigans, and this might be your house, but Catherine said, it's your home too, Star. Star said, good to hear. Sincere and Saint have work to do. First, they need to get all of this straight. And I plan to pop up as often as is necessary to ensure that he and his pet over here don't make it hard for Saint to get his life right. Janelle said, pet? Star said, you heard me. Then she looked at Sincere and said, I ought to call animal control, because you an unfit damn dog owner, letting your chihuahua run around off leash. And you ain't even got a pooper scooper. Catherine said, well, I'll be damned. So several weeks later, when Star, in fact, popped up, she'd walked in on Nell talking real greasy on the phone with who Star assumed was one of her homegirls about how Sincere had been paying her in dust the whole time that they'd been at the estate together, and even more so since he'd left. Star said, oh, you like being walked like a damn dog. I'm definitely fitting to call the ASPCA. Janelle said, and see, there you go. It's the ASPCA, and I ain't no damn dog, but keep playing with me, cause I damn sure bite. Star said, well, clearly you don't bite hard enough, cause a nigga ain't never played in my damn face. You knocked up by a nigga and damn near begging and pleading for him to treat you like somebody. You should be luxuriating with your damn feet up, being waited on, hand and foot. My brother thinks you're a clown. You know that? And so you know, I think so too. Janelle said to her friend on the phone, girl, I'm gonna call you back, cause I'm about to have to shake something back in place in this little girl's head. Star said, baby, you feeling froggy? I'll gladly take you and my niece or nephew on a roller coaster ride. And before they could go to blows, Natalia walked in. She said, I just don't understand. I'm clear across this house in the middle of an important call, and I can hear the two of you acting like kids on a playground, all in the background. I'm trying to work. Janelle said, work? You done locked down old boy and you gotta work? Natalia said, I'm an adult. Adults work. I got a man, not a new damn daddy. And before I got that man, my daddy was not taking care of me. Janelle said, well, you a better woman than I am, because I ain't lifting a damn finger. Star said, and that's the problem. You ain't got no damn life. 5 minutes ago, you was thugged out, selling anything that was not nailed down in your own roach-infested apartment, deciding what you was going to microwave for dinner tonight. Now you knocked up and all that go out the window. You ain't even got the damn daddy taking care of you. My stepmother is. Natalia said, Star, as opposed to being antagonistic, why not do for her what you did for me? Help her understand your brother. Star said she'd been screwing him for the better part of 10 years. She should already understand that man. Hell, she should understand that he don't want her. And quiet as kept, she don't want him either. She was perfectly fine being a late night phone call and some drive-through head, right up until she found out that he was a St. James. Natalia said, and that's your real issue with her? Janelle said, I don't care what her issue is with me. I don't care what she think about me. I just wish she would mind her business. Natalia said, you've got to understand that Star is very protective of her siblings. And the way that you showed up looks like you digging for gold. Janelle said, and what I'm supposed to do? Try to convince her that that's not true? She done made her mind up already, just like you did. Natalia said, no, I haven't. Don't worry about convincing her. If she's wrong, tell me what it really is, and I'll see how I can help. Janelle said, why would you do that? Natalia said, because I want to work in peace. I also want to live in peace. It ain't always got to be up and stuck, Janelle. Finally realizing that Natalia was being sincere. Not the man, but the actual definition of the word. Janelle said, I saw him pulling away. And at first, I was fine with that. But then, things changed. I found out I was pregnant. He showed up in Miami, wanting a little trimp. It had been a while, and I needed me some too, so I did what I always do. Welcomed him in my roach-infested apartment. That ain't got no roaches, by the way. And gave him what he needed. And he didn't show up in the middle of the night, thank you very much. He showed up in the middle of the day. And then he stayed all day. We laughed and talked and got it in a couple more times. And I could see that something was different. He was changing. And I realized that I didn't want things to end. When he left that day, he said we would talk. Well, he never came back. Instead, Catherine showed up on my doorstep. She told me what he was into and that she was going to make sure I was safe. When I asked her why, she said because he asked her to. And I thought that meant he was singing a new tune. Then the nigga showed up and knocked the wind out of my sails. Talking about he couldn't do this no more and the season had changed. And I knew it had to be another broad. And when I told him I was pregnant and he all but threatened my damn life, I knew all that changing had to be about somebody else. So I said, girl, niggas don't change. They change stories though. And they only do that when they see that the one they been telling ain't working no more. You want a nigga to want you to change his story for real? Walk away. Get gone. Natalia said, that doesn't work either. Janelle said, tell me about it. You don't think I never tried to cut him off before? I even tried to get me a boyfriend one time. That nigga showed his whole and entire behind. And just when he got me where he wanted me, he went back to the same old, same old. Natalia said, well, that's where you messed up, sis. You took him back. You think he didn't know that you would take him back? Janelle said, I don't know how he could have known that. Star said, because you took him back 73 other times. 70. Duh. If you was really serious about getting gone, getting with another nigga, he wouldn't have been able to get you back. And he damn sure wouldn't have been able to get you knocked up. I wish I would let a nigga hit raw who treated me like a damn option. Janelle said, I give as good as I get. Star said, I bet. Tell me this. Have y'all ever had a meal at a restaurant where he had to make reservations? He ever once just hit you up to ask you how your day was going? You look like you know struggle, so have you ever been struggling and needed a little help? And without asking, he broke you off a little change. Janelle said, niggas don't do that. Natalia said, you're right, but men do. I know that this is a difficult concept to understand, but a man either wants you or he doesn't. A baby doesn't change that. What's important is how you feel. Are you satisfied with your life as is? Are you willing to continue with your relationship with Sincere within the parameters that you all previously set? Janelle said, we ain't in no relationship and we damn sure ain't set no parameters. Natalia said, unless you're strangers, you are in a relationship. When you're related to someone, you are in a familial relationship. When you are friends with someone, you are in a friendship, which is a relationship. When you're being sexually intimate with someone, you're in a sexual relationship. If you're not in a committed relationship, the word relationship isn't limited to a committed romantic relationship. That's just a type of relationship. Janelle said, I get it. Well, no, I'm not willing to continue within the parameters of our previous relationship. I want it all or nothing at all. Natalia said, then you've got to get real comfortable with the nothing at all part. And you need to focus your attention on the life you want, not on the one you don't. You want to be somebody's girlfriend or wife? Act like one and work on becoming the kind of woman that someone would want to have as one. Janelle said, I'm not changing who I am to try to get him to want me. That clearly didn't work for him when he was trying to change to be who you wanted him to be. Natalia said that was his mistake. He should have been changing to be who he wanted to be. And if that's what he was doing, then he should still be changing. You've got to decide who you want to be and what kind of life you really want to have, because that's going to require some changing. And that has nothing to do with him. You can't trade fighting at the club with fighting with his sister. You can't change just enough for him to notice, because the same way he needs to change for him, you need to change for you and for that baby. Janelle said, but why should I change? Star said, because what you've been doing ain't working for you, girl. Moving different just might not get my brother's attention. But it just might get the attention of the kind of man you actually want. Janelle asked, what you mean the kind of man I want? I want your brother. Star said, no, you don't. At least not the way he is now. You just don't want all the time you've invested thus far to go to waste. You don't want some other woman to reap the benefits of all your hard work. And you don't want all that sucking and Natalia cleared her throat, because she had admonished both women more times than she could count that ladies didn't cuss like sailors. And they could make their point without profanity. Star said, and you don't want all that sexing you've been doing to be for naught. Especially not when you knocked up. You don't really want to be a baby mama. I'll give you that. Natalia said, but you're here now. So you've got to be willing to. Janelle said, I get it. I got to be willing to be done with him. Well, let me ask you this. Who in the hell is going to teach me all the stuff I need to know to become the kind of woman I'm supposed to want to be? Because I ain't never had nobody to teach me none of that. Every time I turn around, you talking about my mama taught me, my daddy taught me. Well, I ain't have none of that. And from the sounds of things, shortstop over here didn't either. Star said, I got your damn shortstop. I had Saint. Saint had Summer and Miss Miracle. And as much as I don't want to admit it, now I have Catherine. And that lady is a wealth of knowledge. She like a damn bottomless pit. Ain't no way you could live under her roof and not get the 411. Natalia said, speaking of Summer, I need to bend your ear. I got questions. Star said, I bet you do. You need to ask my brother. Or hell, ask Summer. Meanwhile, in Denver, True had to be medicated before she opened the message that had appeared on the secure server, where she'd been documenting her pregnancy and updating a journal about all of her thoughts and feelings. Miss Charlotte had done her best to prepare her for what she was about to find out. She said, "I need you to take a few deep breaths and go into this with an open mind and heart. I need you to remember what you do for a living, how you got here, and more importantly, what your goal is. You need to keep this baby in for a couple more weeks. You're underweight, and so is Genesis. Maribel is not here, and she left another doctor in charge. I've already let Maribel know what's going on, and she's already prepared that doctor and this hospital. All you gotta do is take it all in and respond well." Scared to death, True opened up the message, and Miss Charlotte's whole speech went right out the damn window when she realized that the message was from Big Wood, and it was not written before Operation Last Touch. It was so named because the intention was for that to be the last time that he would see or touch his would-be baby's mother, Amira, the younger sister of Wise, Salima's husband. Amira had colluded with her and Wise's newly discovered brother Amir to interfere in Big Wood and True's relationship so that Amir would get the girl. She'd done what Amir had asked, but he had no idea that she had a whole nother reason for going through with the plan to seduce Big Wood. And he certainly didn't know that it was going to end up with her knocked up and having no clue who the baby's daddy was. True was supposed to be in hiding in Denver, but she'd gone to Texas to see about her man. And it was a good thing that she did, because Big Wood had taken 3 bullets. And if not for True, he would have died in that alley. He survived those gunshots. And when True was snuck into the hospital, she had an opportunity to give him some parting words. Right before he flatlined, she left the hospital believing that he died. And after he was resuscitated, the doctor proposed that Big Wood fake his own death in order to save his life. And Big Wood made the decision to keep the plan from True. And when True read that note, she found out all of that and why. Big Wood told True that he'd survived. And when the medical staff resuscitated him, his eyes opened, and there was True in Bosch's arms. Big Wood's note said, "Little mama, I ain't really know what was going on with you and old boy, but I could tell from the look in his eyes that he was real comfortable with you in his arms. I could also tell that he was going to do exactly what he told me he would. And I knew that you was in good hands. That wasn't where I wanted you to be, but it was a hell of a lot better than you being alone. These months without you have been killing me. Thank you for agreeing to keep my mother posted on the pregnancy and allowing her to support you. Those updates have given me the motivation that I needed to get better, to get stronger, to get back to you. But I need you to know that I haven't quite gotten back to me. The man who left you in Denver and said he'd be back is not the man who's coming back. I can't walk far or for long. And when I do walk, I'm walking with a cane and a limp. I'm also not talking so good. I'm using ASL and a tablet because doctors have diagnosed me with aphasia, and they don't know if I'll ever be able to communicate the way that I used to. I'll let my mother explain it to you, because I'm sure you're going to have questions. I'm sure you can understand that living it is hard enough. So I'd rather you ask her what you want to know. But if you got questions about why I made the choice that I made, she can't answer that. Please believe me when I tell you that it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make in my life. And I did not make it easily. I made it because I had to. I didn't make it because I don't love you. I didn't make it because I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be there with you. I wanted to see my son grow inside you. I wanted to hold you in my arms, rub your belly, feed you your favorite meals and whatever you were craving. I wanted to rub your feet, wash your back, tie your shoes when you couldn't reach them, scratch the dandruff out your hair, hold your belly up when it got heavy. and lay belly to belly so I could feel my sun kick, make love to you and feel the union between a father, a mother, and a child. I wanted to be everything you needed and do everything you wanted. I wanted to be the one keeping you and our son safe, but I couldn't do that. I apologize that I couldn't do that. I'll do whatever I gotta do to make it up to you. But if you got questions that this letter doesn't answer, then you need to ask them when we face to face. But understand that I got some questions of my own, and you're gonna have to be prepared to look me in my eyes and answer them. The last time I asked you about a nigga, you told me not to ever question you about what you did with another man. Then you're gonna have to decide how bad you really wanna know. You've got 24 hours to make some hard decisions, because that's when I'm pulling up. And it's up to you whether I'm pulling up as your man, or am I pulling up as the man you having a baby with? Are we leaving the past in the past and planning a wedding, or planning how we gonna co-parent? I'ma leave the ball in your court, but I need you to understand that if your decision is dependent on confronting me about why I chose to keep you in the dark, then you're gonna have to look me in my eyes and tell me what you did with that nigga. If it's me and you ain't got no questions, then my only question is, are you done with that nigga? But no matter what you decide, I need you to know that wherever my son is, I'm gonna be right there. When he wake up in the morning, I'm the only man's face he ever gonna see. When he go to bed at night, I'm the only man that's gonna tuck him in. When he fall down, I'm the only man that's gonna help him get up. So that nigga, any nigga, gonna have to find himself something safe to do.
If you reading this, fight for love at all costs. You die coward when you don't follow